So today we're gonna go over how to use Thinkorswim, and then we're gonna go over risk management. Okay. Where should we start first? I feel like we should start with risk management because I think a lot of you guys are kind of gonna screw that up.
Yeah.
Uh, Cam, you back? He's not back yet.
Okay.
Give it a sec. There's Aaron. One sec, guys. Just waiting for Cam.
I'm just taking a walk to pee, bro. No going
I'm back, y'all.
Oh, he's
All right.
back.
So we're gonna be going over Thinkorswim, and then we're gonna be going over risk management. Okay.
Aaron's joining too right
Yeah,
now.
our pawn's here. I'm gonna go over Thinkorswim after what's it called? Unique joins. So we're gonna do that at the end. First thing I want to go over is risk management. This is the single-handedly the most important thing in option trading or any type of trading, okay? Because it doesn't matter what your win rate is, it doesn't matter if you have an 80% win rate. If your risk to reward, which is called our RR multiple, is anything below a 1 to 2, you are not going to be profitable. Okay? Now, what is your risk reward? Well, risk reward is how much you're risking for every dollar you're making. For example, let's say that right here, we'll say 227. We'll just call this 227 flat. If I enter at 227, this becomes my entry. Okay? If we enter at 227, let's say that this is 228, just theoretically. Let's say 228. This is my SL stop loss. Okay? So here I have how much of a stop loss? I have $1 stop loss. Okay? For this trade to be worth it for me to trade and get into, I need to be able to make at least $3 on the downside. So if it's 227, this has to be able to go to at least 225. Okay? Now let's just call this 225 right here. This will be 225. Okay? So from here to here, it's $2. Okay? My risk reward is a 2 to 1. Okay? So that means that I'm risking $1 for every $2. This is the bare minimum it has to be for you to be able to take the trade. Because if you take dumb trades and you have your stop loss, super wide and you don't let the trade go, what ends up happening is you're gonna have a green day, red day. That one red day, it's gonna wipe away all the profits from all your green days. Okay? So risk management is very important. Now in options, it's especially hard because the contracts, they're not priced in like this, right? In a perfect world scenario where you're trading shares, this would be a super easy way to trade because here you have, hard numbers where our contracts are not moving. We're just trading shares, very easy. But with option contracts, what ends up happening is, let's say up here, contracts are worth $2. Okay, so let's say we enter here at $2. Let's say we set our stop loss at $1.80. And then let's say our take profit down here is $2.80. Okay, so here from $2 to $1.80, how much am I risking? I'm risking about 20 cents. Okay, here, if it goes all the way down to here, how much can I make? I can make 80 cents, right? 0.8. So this is a what risk reward? Can anybody tell me? We're risking 20 cents to make 80 cents. What risk reward is this? Damn, none of you can do math in here. It's a 1 to 4. 1 to 4 risk reward, meaning for every $20 I'm risking, I'm making $80, right? 20 times 4 is what? 80. Okay? So my risk reward here is a 1 to 4. This is amazing. Now the problem becomes whenever you are moving your stop loss up and down, we don't know what these numbers are going to be until we enter the trade. You cannot predict option contracts without us actually entering the trade. So that's where it gets really hard with options is you have to enter and then you have to set your stop loss and slowly move it to whatever, your risk allows. Okay? So that's the basics of risk management. And then we're going to go into a few strategies and stuff like that. Everybody's here? Okay. So let's go over today's trade. Very, very simple trade. This was yesterday's high. Okay, this was yesterday's high. You guys can see we wicked a lot. Remember yesterday we went over wicks, we went over wicking. So our main thing is somebody know Milan that is not supposed to be here. So our main thing is here. We have a lot of wicking. Yesterday we went over candlesticks and what wicking means. Whenever we see a lot of wicking, this means that this can either be a supply or a demand zone. For this example, it's a supply zone. You guys can see the wicks could not break. So we take this level, we carry it on to the next day. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, this right here is a key level for us. Whether it's a support resistance, doesn't matter, it's there. Okay, we already drew that. So first confirmation becomes, okay, we're rejecting. What's happening at the wick? Okay, if we take a closer look, what's happening here? Well, market opens up, we have a wick. Pre-market, we have a wick. And then market opens up, guess what? We break our key level, we reject that main level, and then we start pushing lower. So we have first confirmation is our supply zone. Okay, second confirmation, key level. Third confirmation, guess what, guys? We're below the 9 and the 20 EMA. Some of you asked if the 9 and the 21 or if it's a 9 and 20. It doesn't really make a difference. So this one we're gonna say crossover. Cross XO is for crossover. Okay, so one confirmation, two confirmations, three confirmations. Okay, 5-minute candle closes, boom, we enter. This is where I take my entry today. Okay, this is where I take my entry, and then we're below the 9 EMA, you're gonna hold. Now I ended up getting out right around here when it started flagging. For me, first trade of the morning, and plus it was on a Tuesday. So yesterday I had lost some money. So for me, I was really risk off today. Okay, I was making sure that I protected capital. I was making sure that I'm making my money. I'm building cash flow as we go. So what did I do when we had this drop? I secured some profits, and then I saw this little bounce. I didn't want to be in the trade. I got out. Okay, you guys can see we fell really hard. I'm trading my plan. Okay. Because for me, I wasn't looking to catch it all the way down to here. That's not realistic, okay? I'm scalping. I got in really fast. I got out really fast. I made my profit for the day, okay? So this was today's trade. But if we go into risk reward, okay, and we go to the 1-minute chart, this is how risk reward works on Thinkorswim. I don't think I can add it here. Okay, I'm just gonna go back. Okay, so we have this right here. Okay, if we go to Amazon. If we go to Amazon, you guys can see I ended up trading, I believe, the 225 contracts. So they're about $3.80. Okay. We always send this number one. This is how we trade. I'm not going to press any buttons here because it's a live account, but the way we trade this is we see the option premiums here. Okay. That's the first thing. We see the option premiums. We see how they're moving. We see all that. The main thing we're focused on is this right here. Okay. What this allows us to do is something that's very powerful. We can, let's say, for example, that we want to take an entry here. Okay. Let's say that me, Arpon, Cam, Sagar, whoever, we want to take an entry here. When we want to enter here, let's say the contracts are at $4. We hit buy, ask, okay? And it's going to try to fill us in at whatever this price is. This gray box, it's going to try to fill us in there. Let's say we want to set up a limit order. Limit order is where you go to a certain price. So let's say $4.10, and you press this button right here. It's going to fill you in at that price, or it's going to try to. Okay, it's not guaranteed. But for this example, let's say that I enter at $4 a contract. Okay, I enter up here at 227.64. As soon as I enter, let's say I'm in with, I don't know, we'll say 10 contracts. Okay, so Cam comes into the market, he enters with 10 contracts at $4. So he's risking about 400 times 10, that's what, $4,000? He's risking about $4,000 in total. Okay. This is what sets options apart. We never risk the full amount. Okay. We're never going to be risking the full $4,000. We're only going to be risking a part of this. Now, if you think you should set your stop loss based off of percentage and stuff, you can do whatever. That's never worked out for me. The way we've always done it is we look at where the actual stock is. We don't look at our P&L. We don't look at anything. We read the market. Okay. And what I mean by this is if we go back here and I zoom in even more, okay, I take an entry once this breaks, I enter on this candle, like I told you guys. If I take an entry on this candle, right, I'm going to get an entry somewhere in the middle. Okay. That's me being realistic. I enter on this break. I enter somewhere over here. We're going to say the contracts are $4 each. Okay. My stop loss is going to be a little bit above this right here. Okay. You always want to put it a few cents, 4 or 5 cents above this. Let's say that I set my stop loss. Let's say that we have a 30-cent stop loss. So Chem enters at $4. Okay. His stop loss is going to be 370, which is going to be right around here. Let's just say, yep, right here. So 370. This is going to be his SL stop loss. This is going to be his entry. Okay. Now he's risking 30 cents a contract. So how much is he risking in total? He's risking about $300. Okay. His stop loss is 0.30, or that equivalates to $300. Okay. And remember, Chem is testing this. He's going to keep pressing limit orders until he sees the stop loss go to here. Okay. His stop loss is at 370. His entry is at $4. He's risking about 30 cents of risk. What does his stop loss have to be for it to be a 1-to-1 risk reward? Can anybody tell me? It has to be 4.3. Okay. This is a 1-to-1. Remember, this $4 to 370, that's 30 cents. If he makes 30 cents, his risk reward is a 1-to-1. So let's just, for example, let's say that this right here is our 1-to-1 risk reward. Let's say these contracts are worth 4.3 here. Okay. That means that if this stock drops all the way down to here, the contracts are going to be worth $430 each from $400 or $4 that they were before. Okay. This is not good enough in options trading, because if Chem decides that he's, going to take profit on this trade and he takes another trade, guess what? His P&L is down because his risk reward is a 1-to-1. Okay. If his risk reward is a 1-to-2, where should his take profit be? Can somebody tell me that?
4.6.
There you go. 4.6, which I'm just going to draw up here, should be his risk reward. Let's say 4.6 is down here. 4.6, okay? This gives him a 1-to-2 risk reward, okay? So this is what's ideal. Anything less than a 1-to-2, you should not even be taking the trade, even if it looks good, because it's not worth it, okay? That's the first thing we need to identify when we're taking the setup, is you need to know, is this trade even going to be worth it for me to enter? Because if you end up taking a trade just because the setup looks nice, but the risk reward is not there, market's choppy or whatever, you're going to get messed up. Okay. So that's how we do it here. Another thing with Thinkorswim is if you enter at $4, right, and this thing starts pushing up, let's say it goes to 440. What we like to do, me, Sagar, is we like to set our stop. So you can actually set a limit and you can start moving this up on the ladder. Okay. I'll make a video after this for that, because I can't do it on live market right now, but you can actually hit the limits and you can slowly move them up. Actually, I might be able to do it on demand. Let me see if I can do it on this. So let's just say right here, I'll just do a quick little example. Why isn't it working? Give it a second, might take time to load. There we go. Okay, so let's say that I want to buy these contracts. Okay, I entered. You guys can see I'm in at what? I can't even see this. I'm in at $6.78. Okay, the way we do this on Thinkorswim is we'll set a stop loss like this. Okay, you guys can see this right here. Okay, let's say that I want my stop loss to be down here. What we'll do is we come here and we start moving it. Okay, I don't know why this is doing the opposite direction, but you'll start moving your stop loss like this. You don't look at your P&L. You read the chart, guys. So we want our stop loss to be at low of day. Okay, holy shit. We want our stop loss to be at low of day. We don't care about the P&L. We're just looking at the actual stop loss on the chart. Okay, you don't want to pay attention to this. You want to pay attention to this. Now, if we're risking $84, how much should we be making minimum? You do 84 times 2. That's $168. You need to be making at least $168 for this trade to be worth it. 168 is up here. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go to 168. 168. This trade needs to go up to here. Okay. For us to have a 1-to-2 risk reward. That is the bare minimum. If you know that there's a resistance right here and you know that it's not going to break, or this is your next level, you shouldn't even have taken the trade in the first place. Or you should have set your stop way above, but you cannot trick your stop. What I mean by that is you cannot, if this right here is low of day and you enter in the middle, you cannot set your stop down here. Okay, you have to set it with levels. You have to be realistic because the stock needs room to breathe. What happened here? Market pushed. Guess what? It's breathing. Okay, this wicks right here, they're breathing. You have to let the stock breathe. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Nothing?
No, nothing right now.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
So go ahead.
Do you move your stop loss while
Yes.
it's
So once we're in profit, I'll show you guys here. Once, let's say, well, let's kind of just go to back to an example. I gotta find the contracts again. And I'm gonna find cheaper contracts than this. Holy shit.
Is it one?
Oh fuck. Sorry, give me one sec. We'll just do these contracts. All right. So let's say that Alicia enters at $1.10. Okay. Let's say the stock pushes all the way up to $1.20. Okay. Once you're up on Thinkorswim, what you can do is you can grab your stop loss and you can start moving it up. And what this does is wherever we entered, we cannot go back down. Okay. So if this is our entry, as for E, okay, and the stock current price is here, we can grab our stop loss and we can start moving it up. I can set my stop loss at 1.15. Once I set that, that becomes automatically a limit order. The trade, if let's say this thing's up here, it comes back down and it drops really fast, it's gonna fill you in here somewhere. Okay, now of course, depending on your bid and ask, it's gonna be up or down, a cent, maybe 5, 10 cents, but for the most part, it's gonna fill you as soon as it can. Okay, but you should never lose money on that trade now. Okay, and that's why Thinkorswim is so good to use. Is once your trade is in profit, you usually cannot go red unless it moves extremely fast or you're not able to set your stop loss in time. And that's why we always recommend using Thinkorswim because this tool right here is so powerful for trading options. Okay. Now let's kind of go into how to use Thinkorswim. Where do you guys want to start? What do you guys want to know about Thinkorswim? Please unmute, ask questions.
Dude, I'm having trouble even like using the graph, like everything, honestly.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. You are going to have, wait, hold on. Okay. So your workspace is going to look something like this when you first start. Okay. We have this thing called chart. We have this thing called flex grid. We always try to use the flex grid. We don't really try to use the chart much. Usually what you want to do when you first start off is you want to get rid of everything, and then you're going to have one layout. Once you have one layout, we always press the little plus in the middle, and then we press the plus on the left. It makes it into 3 charts. Okay. This stuff on the left, you don't really need. If you want to hit this little arrow, you can get rid of it. Okay. Now, this right here is our link. The way links work is if we put 2 here and we put 2 here, anything you write on 2 gets transferred over here. Okay? If you put this to number 3, anything you write here does not get transferred down here. But if I put this on a 2, all 3 of these work together. Okay? That's the first thing. Those are called our links. Now, the way we set this up for options is right here. On our right-hand side, we get rid of charts and we put our option chain down here. Okay? Make sure this is on number 2. Make sure this is on number 2. Up here, we put this to number 1. Okay? And then you usually, depending on how big your screen is, I like to have the chart on, and then I'll have the option, not the option chain, the active trader on. Okay? So it will look something like this. And then always you want to do the 1 minute. So your active trader and your Thinkorswim setup should look something like this. Okay? Number 1 here, number 2, number 2. Whenever you reconnect the Thinkorswim, this number 2 always disappears, at least for me. Some people don't have that problem, but for me, I end up having that problem. But the main thing we're looking to do is you always want to make sure number 2 is connected to number 2, and then this is on number 1. Okay? What this lets us do is this lets us look at a stock, pick an option contract, right click, send it to number 1, and the option contract is up here. So we can buy really fast, okay? Now, to finish setting this up, we always turn the sidebars off because we don't want to mess up our Thinkorswim. And then next thing we'll do is you will hit this little button up here, customize grid, turn that off. This looks good, okay? Then you're going to hit the configure button. We're going to go to buy market, remove, sell market, remove. I used to do buy, bid, sell, ask. Now I do buy, ask, sell, bid. And that gets us in a little bit faster, but you do pay a premium. So we always do the buy, ask, sell, bid. Okay. And then usually you press on these, move them up. Make sure you have first line, buy, ask, sell, bid, press OK. So now we're buying a little bit expensiver, but we're getting in really fast. And then we're selling a little bit lower, but we're exiting really fast. Okay. And then we have this little thing. You can press on these. Auto send. If you have auto send on and you accidentally click on this, it's going to buy the contract. I don't feel bad for you. You should have this off until you're ready to execute your trade. Okay. Now, once you have all of this done, we're going to go to the 5-minute time frame. Your charts are not going to look like mine. You're going to middle click on your mouse button. You're going to go to the price level tool, double click. It's going to be red. And then you're going to right click, edit properties, and then your properties should look like this. Your style should be the middle grid. Your color should be white. Left extension on, right extension on, show name on the right, show price on the right. And then you are going to always press save as default and then press OK. Then every time you draw, this is what your lines and levels are going to look like. Okay. So that's the first thing. Next thing is down here. We don't want our charts. Your charts are going to look a little bit different. So we're going to hit the gear icon. Make sure you go to time axis. This should be on 50. What this does is it lets you see to the right of your chart. What I mean by that is if we go here, if you don't have the axis on, you can only see up until here. Okay, you can only see whatever the stock is at right now. If you turn the axis on, you get extra space on the right-hand side. Okay, go back to settings, go to your appearance, make sure this is what your appearance look like. Your grid, usually you want to turn that off. Your what's it called, ticks, you want that color as symbol. And then all this stuff, you know, it's personal preference if you want to color your candles. But at the end, this is what your candlesticks are going to look like. And you have the same setup as me. Now, if you don't want to do this every single time you log into Thinkorswim, you go to top right, you hit setup, save workspace as, you name it, I don't know, ETY is the best, and then you hit save, and then next time you log in, you go to setup, and then you can press, you know, UTY is the best, and then it'll open you up, okay? A few more things on your Thinkorswim. Make sure, especially on a live account, on paper trade, you can do this. On a live account, go to your application, go to your, where is it? Go to your active trader. This is going to be on 3, I believe, or 500. Make sure this is on 0. Okay? Make sure this is on 0 so there's no latency issues. System, make sure this is also going to be at 3, I believe. Make sure this is at real time, no delay. You want no delay when you're live trading. This is up to you. Also, if you go to startup and you pick that layout that you guys just saved, every time you open up Thinkorswim, it automatically puts you into the layout. Okay? So I really recommend doing that. It's very helpful, especially when you're, you know, just getting started. That way, every time, you know, if I press this, it's going to put me into that every single time. Okay. And then do last used. Look and feel. If you want yours to look like mine, I do the old school TOS. Everybody has their preference. It doesn't make a difference. Display, up to you. All this stuff, up to you. Order default. We don't trade stocks. We trade options. You want to go to default order type. Make sure it's limit. Stop loss type. STD, and then max quantity of orders. I recommend putting this as 20 or unlimited, and then default quantity of orders. You want to do that as always 1, so it goes up in $1 increments up here, and then quantity of order increments. This should also be 1. Okay. If you put this as any other number, then these start jumping from 1 to 2 to 3, 4, 5. If you do 5s, it's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay. Options, futures, all this stuff we don't mess with, but make sure you apply settings, and then you want to go back here, and then you want to save your workspace one more time, and you're good to go. Okay, so Thinkorswim, very simple. If once you have that, it's going to look exactly the way mine does. Now, how do we actually trade options? Okay, you will look at a stock, you'll find a setup, and then you'll, you know, usually it'll already be here, and then make sure your strike, make sure this is on 10 or 12. I like to do 12 or 14. Everybody has a preference. Your calls are on the left. Okay, so your calls are on the left. Your puts are on the right. Remember that. If you ever have to check, it says it right here, but sometimes we tend to forget. Our ask price, which is what we're going to be getting filled at, is on our left-hand side. Okay, so whenever we're buying a stock, we're going to get filled from here, our bid, to our ask on our spread. We're going to get filled somewhere in between here. You have to remember that. Okay, so for example, right now I'm looking at these contracts. They expire in 0 days. Okay, so whenever you guys see these numbers in parentheses, that means that's how many days till expiration. For example, this is 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. Here's the day on the left-hand side. Make sure you have that right. Make sure you pick that before anything else. Before you look at the strike and all that. Your strike price is going to be in the middle. So, for example, right now, let's say SPY is at what? 589.65. I think it's going to go to 590. I'm going to look at the 590 strike. It expires on the 7th, which is today. I'm going to go to the left. How much is it worth? It's worth 0.01, 1 cent or $1. And then what I would do once you find that contract is you right click on it and then you do send and then you send to number 1. Okay. Once you send to number 1, the contract is going to be up here. If you want to verify, you can read it up here. Now, the difference between this with shares and options is when you're trading options, it does not show you your position or your PNL up here. You have to remember that. Where it shows you your position is over here, okay? Make sure your net POS is 0. Every time you're about to close Thinkorswim, make sure you go to monitor and check off all your trades, make sure it's closed. You want to make sure your net POS is at 0, which means that you have no position. If I buy 5 contracts, it's going to say +5. If I'm short 5 contracts, it's going to say -5, okay? But you want to make sure it's either at 0 or a number that's positive. But it does not show you over here, okay? And remember, turn your auto send on before you execute a trade, because if you don't, this is what happens. This is what happens. It's not even letting me do it. But what it'll do is it will give you a big screen down here that says order confirmation, and it'll give you a bunch of crap that you don't need, and it's going to slow you down. So make sure that auto send is always on whenever you're live trading, okay? Any other questions, guys? Anybody have any questions? Nothing? All right. I'm trying to think what else to show you guys. Charts. This is the same thing. The only difference is this has much less of a layout. You don't get as much customization with this. With FlexGrid, you get a bunch of customization, as you guys can see. There's no big difference. Feel free, the more you guys mess around with the stuff, the better you're going to get. If you want to add the EMAs, okay, let's say you want to add the 9 EMA, you want to add the 20 EMA, you go to studies, edit studies, and then you search it up. So I would do, you don't search up EMA, you search up exponential moving average. You always have to name it, double click, it's going to be added here. If you want to edit this, because right now it says close 9, which means it's the closing 9 EMA. Let's say I want to make this into the 21. We'll do 21. I can change the color, press OK, apply. Okay. And then let's say I want to add another EMA, I want to add the 9. Here we have the 9 added, and boom, there we go. We have our EMAs added. I recommend changing the color on one of them, but it's pretty damn simple. Okay. And then remember, if you don't save this workspace, next time you log in, you're not going to have the EMAs. So just always go to setup, save your workspace, as long as you're happy with it. If you're not, do whatever. Okay. Any other questions today? Anything you guys want to go over specifically? Nothing? Who's typing? I'm trying to think what else I could go over. I don't think there's anything else to go over. What other questions do you guys have? Anything?